Hello and welcome back to Necromancer, and I finally solved our gold problem. Well, I say I solved it, but I didn't really do that much. Basically, the only thing that I did differently was I gave away some of my fiefs. Yeah, I gave away some of my fiefs. I didn't actually give away anything too amazing. So, obviously, I'm not going to give away any of the towns, but I did give away the 2 castles that I had, because they were a little bit of a drain, and they didn't give too much in the way of prosperity back to me. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to give them away to our faction, and that seems to have done a bit to help out. As you can see right here, I'm still losing a huge amount of money every single day, but... Now, and here's a really amazing thing that I was unaware of, and I think this might have been a bit of a glitch. I'm actually not entirely sure how this happened, but I was just doing my normal thing, which in this case would, you know, preclude to me fighting Chaos Patrols, fighting Vassals, because we do have a war declaration that has happened, I think about a week ago or something, an in-game week ago that is, and I've just been fighting a bunch of vassals, getting a lot of money from ransoming them, from the gear that they're giving us, and I'm also fighting the chaos units around here as well. So basically double whammy, right? Double whammy, getting a massive amount of cash from that. But here's the amazing thing. I was just doing that normal thing, right? Just, you know, killing vassals and so on. And then all of a sudden, I see that one of my party members has won a tournament, and all of a sudden, I had, at the time, actually, I had 460,000 gold. All of a sudden. I had about 350,000 at that point, and I thought, okay, I'm going to start the episode soon, because that meant that I was actually going to... you know, be able to do this without having any issues in the form of, well, going bankrupt, right? So then I thought, what happened, you know? So I actually didn't notice immediately, but yeah, so then I had 460,000 in my inventory, and I thought, where did that 100k come from? Then I looked back at my text log, and I saw that one of my party members had won a tournament, and that had deposited 104,000 gold into my inventory. Now, it didn't actually count in terms of party income, because you can see here that, well, they're basically not giving me anything right now. But at the time, it gave me, it literally did give me over 100,000 gold, which... I have no idea. I don't even know how that was possible, to be honest. But that is what happened. I didn't get it on camera, obviously, because I don't record when I'm doing off-screen progress, but I just thought I'd let you know that that's exactly what happened, because I was absolutely shocked. I was speechless for a good 2 seconds. I know, very rare. But anyway, we do have a lot of inventory right here. As you can see, I've been fighting a lot. And this is the kind of thing, yeah, you see exactly what I'm talking about. You fight a couple of vassals, and all of a sudden your money problems just go away. They just evaporate. And look at this, look at that. I can just sell this. I could sell another one of it. Look at this, 112,000 I'm going to be gaining right here. Pretty amazing. We can also sell this stuff too, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. And obviously we have a bunch of meat here as well from me fighting the Chaos Patrols and everything. And yeah, that's it. That is the reason. So as soon as war actually happens, I have well, just an easy time. Basically. I mean, I'm just picking on very weak vassals here for the most part. I'm not really picking on anyone that is going to have a chance of killing me, but that's the whole point. You know, you pick on these guys and they have very few units that can actually deal with you, and then you can just have a grand old time. But you could see right there, look at that. I just sold all my inventory. I fought, I think, 2 or 3 vassals before selling here. And we also have, oh, I actually also have prisoners that I didn't even bother to sell as well. So, yes, I thought I'd just kind of catch you up on how I have made that much money, because that's it. that is all that it was, basically. So I just needed to survive, and I was able to survive just by limping along, fighting chaos patrols and selling the prisoners from there. I didn't do any tournaments because I don't think I'm not very confident in my abilities to be able to do that. Seems like a lot of my parties. Oh, no, never mind. Casimir actually took someone prisoner. That's very cool. Okay. Wasn't expecting him to be able to do that, but yeah, that's great. Okay. Anyway, let's move on in to enemy territory right here. We do have someone over there. I think I would probably like to murder any single vassal that I see for a variety of reasons. I have advanced my clan tier to 5, so that's really nice. That means that I now have 257 max company size, and I think that's primarily due to noble retinues. I believe that that is one of the policies that is currently implemented within the vampire counts, and I wasn't able to take advantage of it before because of course I was a tier 4 clan, and as far as I'm aware it only affects people of tier 5 and above. So that's something to just bear in mind, and that's the reason why we are having a significantly larger army than we did before. Anyway, let me see if I can do something here. I've actually been a bit more liberal with my usage of magic as well. And so what I'm basically, I mean, look at that. Look at how much damage I was able to deal there. And we're just going to do a nice little withering wave here as well. And otherwise, I'm just going to summon skeletons. I'm just going to summon a random amount of skeletons. I don't really care what kind of skeletons, but I'm just going to summon them. And then we're going to tell everyone to charge in, because these guys are going to provide a bit of a scapegoat. They're going to be the ones to absorb a little bit of damage here and there. And then my forces, my cavalry forces, are going to be charging straight on in. And it's going to be a wonderful time had by all, with the exception of the enemy, of course. They're not going to have a very fun time at all. But, yeah. So yeah, I've actually started doing a little bit more of that. So a little bit more variety in the spells that we're using, because, you know, just relying on Wind of Death and Withering Wave to do all the damage for me, with the exception of basically just not using any strategy or tactics whatsoever. I mean, obviously there are tactics and strategy related to using those spells. I'm not saying that it's a fire and forget super easy thing to use, because yeah, it's easy to use, but it's definitely hard to make it the most efficient killer that you can possibly, you know, muster. So that's the reason why I've kind of tried to incorporate a couple of summoning abilities as well, because that actually makes a lot of difference in the way that the opponent reacts to further attacks, you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier for you to then charge your cavalry in, and then you're going to have a much easier time. Anyway, I haven't been taking skeletons or anything like that. As you can see right here, I basically only have enslaved warriors and damned warriors, and that's basically all I'm going to be taking. I don't think I'm going to be taking any of the regular skeletons for the moment, mostly because I just want to try and keep a pretty strong army. I don't really want a huge amount of fodder, because if I have a huge amount of fodder and I think to myself, oh, I'm running around with 258 units, I must be relatively strong, and then all of a sudden I go into one battle and then I'm down at 160 units again, and then I think, well, what happened? Did I do really badly in that previous fight? And so on and so forth. So all these questions start creeping into my mind, and I think, well, did I do a bad job? Maybe, you know? And that's the kind of thing I'd like to try and avoid, at least at the moment. So let's take a look here. Influence gain from battles, that's obviously going to get increased right quick. And then we're going to be increasing our leadership, I think. Amusingly enough, in all these fights, I actually haven't leveled up. This is the first time I have leveled up, which is really, really funny. But I think now that we have leveled to 25, it is quite a bit more difficult to actually gain levels, considering my riding skill and my athletics are two of the highest ranking things. And if I were to get more kills with my one-handed, then obviously that would definitely make a difference. But I've tried to do that. One of the battles specifically that I tried to do, I failed gloriously to get any of those kills. Let's just say that. And then I decided, you know what? It's too much trouble. It's too much trouble for what it's worth. And so I basically just didn't even bother with it any further. Anyway, let me actually just take a quick look here. Can I see it? There we go. Okay, 211. Let's do this. Let's go straight on in. You can see here, look at the combat strength disparity between the garrison here and ourselves. We are looking mighty fine. And I'm actually now thinking, what should I do? Because I don't really want to destroy... You know what? I'm going to destroy the walls. I'm going to destroy the walls. And we'll see what we can do here. I'm going to continue to accept ransoms and things. But now that we have such a significant amount of cash, I don't really think it's necessary for me to really do things for money any further. I'm not really motivated by that anymore, so I can kind of switch my focus back to leveling my forces up as fast as possible by donating a huge amount of my loot that I gain after every single fight. And obviously I can try to be a little bit more, shall we say, a little bit more generous in the way that I deal with fiefs as well, because obviously I don't really need to, you know, be grabby with all of my fiefs. I don't need to think to myself, oh yes, I really need this for my livelihood or something along those lines. No, you know, so I don't really have to do that any further. And of course, I am probably going to be calling for an army of my very own. I do have a lot of parties that could potentially join us, but I generally tend to like to give them to the other ones over here. You can see here, this guy literally has Gregor, Casimir, Alexis, Mengot, and Sifrid all in the same army, and they're all my parties. I don't even know whether we have any available. I mean, obviously I can't create an army right now because I'm in a siege, but still, the point is, I think maybe it's better that my parties go and help out the AI, because I personally think that I'm quite capable of besieging things by myself, but obviously that's a bit of a... I don't know whether that's a bit of a fallacy at the best of times, because sometimes I think to myself I'm much more powerful than I actually am at the time. So maybe it's maybe it's a bit of a delusion, shall we say. Anyway, let's just destroy that catapult and let's go straight on in. Oh my, I think I made a slight error. Yeah, I made a slight error. Okay, so the error is... Actually, no, wait a minute. I can put these away. Okay, I'm gonna leave them up, okay? Because I was actually half thinking that maybe I should put the trebuchets away in the reserves, because we've seen that sometimes does not really work out too well for me. Let's just say, big rock, on face, instant kill by friendly fire. Yes, that has happened before, and I would like to try and hopefully have that not happen again. You know, that would be really, really bad. And I'm actually not entirely sure, to be honest, whether it's going to happen again, but I'm going to tell all of my forces to charge in. Hopefully they are going to be able to do just that. I'm going to actually summon my Grave Call here, get a bunch of skeletons out here right now, and you know what? Let's do a Wind of Death. That seems pretty nice. Whoa, that actually that actually did a lot more than I anticipated. I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I don't really care about my spells anymore. Maybe I shouldn't care. You know? Maybe I should make it so that my forces are literally just gonna, you know, just gonna do whatever, and maybe me too. You know, maybe I'm just gonna unleash them at any opportunity. Any good opportunity that I see, I should probably just unleash them and see what happens, you know, because at the best of times, I'm going to get a couple of kills, and maybe even more, and at the worst of times, I'll just get a handful. Or none. Or none, yes. Anyway, there's actually something that I want to do here. Hello there. Hello there, archery line. Please stay there. Please just stand there, real quick. I don't have anything to show you, apart from the Wind of Death. Yes. There we go. Okay, I'm actually getting shot by this guy. I'm going to try and eliminate him in... Wow. Oh, that's actually a Regiment of Renown unit. That's a Regiment of Renown unit right there. Bear in mind, I really don't have a huge amount of one-handed skill, and that is an excuse, of course. I mean, I probably could have beaten that guy in one-on-one, but for me, personally, I really don't mind. I really don't care that much about winning in these kinds of 1 versus 1 situations when there's nothing on the line, because, let's face it, I've already used my spells that I want to. I've already inflicted quite a lot of damage to the opponent, and we have achieved victory, which is, in the end, all that matters. Anyway, there we go. We can now take all the troops that we want, and I think I will probably be taking all of them, and I'll take all the prisoners too, because I think we're nearby to a town, possibly, and we'll donate the 13,000 experience to our own troops. Gonna show mercy, and then we will decline the honor to have the fief. And then what we'll do is we'll walk in here, and we will donate troops to the garrison. Yes, fantastic. All right, let's do it. There we go, 146 of them. Let's just make sure that there's nothing here that I actually want to keep. And it doesn't seem as though that is the case, so we will just swap quite a few of them, and I think that's actually going to be all our swap for the moment. And there we have it, because you never know, maybe I'm going to actually need some fodder. I mean, it's probably a good idea to have a little bit, just to make sure that you don't lose too many of your important units, but yeah, hopefully you understand my reasoning behind the whole thing. You know, I'd like to make sure that my army can actually handle any situation that arises, and when you have a lot of fodder in your army, it's very difficult to kind of tell whether you're going to achieve victory against someone that has very strong units indeed. So that's my reasoning on that. Anyway, let's take a look at who is going to be the owner for this. I don't actually really care. Let's have a look. This guy? There we go. Gain a little bit of charm skill. Don't really care about that either. Charm skill has, I think actually, the charm skill has been one of the most useless skills so far in this series, which is actually very strange because in every other series of Bannerlord that I've created, charm skill has been extremely useful in almost every single aspect. But in this, very much not useful at all, which I gotta say I'm actually liking. I like that that difference, because yeah, as I say, usually it's a very useful, very important skill to level up, but now, no. Now it's just, you know, whatever. Don't need to worry about it at all. Anyway, let's just give this to this guy. I'm really not getting that much charm skill anyway, and also not that much relation either. I mean, relation in general doesn't really make that much difference as it is. So I don't really need to worry about it, I suppose. But anyway, let me see what I can do here. Let's just sell all my prisoners. And I think I did take, yeah, I did take, look at that, another 16,000 right there, another 17,000, and technically I could sell my weapons as well, so there's another 20,000 right there. Super, super nice way of gaining money. And we have Gorgovich, who is attempting to take that particular town over there, and then we have, wait a minute, do we actually have someone attempting to take that one, or have they run away? I think they might have actually run away, but it's okay. I mean, generally, what I'd like to do is, well, in the best of times, I would like, wait a minute, why is he running? The best possible situation for us right now would be for us to take both of these towns before any additional war declaration appears. Because you can see here that we have 20 and 17 days respectively remaining on these non-aggression pacts. And I'll tell you, as soon as the non-aggression pact wears off, it will take a mere few days for either faction basically to declare war against each other. So we really do need to get a bit of a move on there. I'm actually going to be attacking these guys. I'm a bit weirded out by the fact that Gorgovich is running away. I don't know why he would run away with 2,000 units in his army. That really makes very little sense, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, ranged troops have 50% more ammunition when besieging. That makes no difference whatsoever to me. I guess I'll go for carpenters, I suppose. I'm not really sure what's better in that regard, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose, as we are now going to go into this fight. And we will see how we do against the two vassals that were apparently chasing Gorgovich off. I'm not entirely sure why, as I say, he was running. It doesn't really make much sense to me. Why do I have a banner? Why do I have a banner? I have never had one of these ever before, but apparently I have a banner now. Not entirely sure why, but I dropped it. Oh, okay. I actually did not mean to drop it, but I dropped it. Okay. What a classic, eh? Anyway, let me tell my cavalry to, well, my companions to auto-delegate, because maybe they can do a little bit of spell casting here and there. And I'm going to try and get some really, really nice damage on the opponent here too. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, you see. That is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what I've been able to do in my off-screen time as well. I'm actually really, really happy that I was able to do that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, don't get killed now. Don't get killed. Okay, I only have to wait another 5 seconds for Petty Heal to come back. I should really summon skeletons as well, shouldn't I? Okay, let's just get Petty Heal to come back, and then we'll just summon a couple of these guys. Wind of Death, is it back? No, 8 seconds. Gonna summon these fellows as well, and I'm gonna tell my forces to charge straight on in. And that's the kind of thing I've been able to do in my off-screen time, and that's the funny thing, you know. People over the course of the series have basically been saying to me, "You're terrible at using these spells," and yeah, you know, that's the thing. I think it is the curse of the Let's Play, for the most part. I think it is that thing, you know, where if I or other you know, content creators are basically doing something and they want to show their viewers something, want to show you something, for example. And then as soon as I want to show you that one thing, it never works. It never works as intended. It's such a... yes, don't even get me started on that. Anyway, we were able to achieve victory very easily in actual fact. Can I actually heal myself before we end the battle? Yes, I can. There we go. Nice. Alright, so I literally got 232 kills. Yep. 232 kills, and I am able to take both of these people prisoner, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, so apart from that, do I want to do anything else? Do I want to take these guys? Not really. So I'm actually going to just leave them the way they are. I'm not really going to take them. As I said, don't actually need money, so I'm just going to be taking the armor, and then we'll just donate the weapons for experience. That sounds pretty good. There we go. All right, so let's see exactly what was scaring Mr. Gorgovich so much at the nearby town. And I'm actually going to save here as well, because I am a little bit worried about crashes. You never know. Okay, 618. Let's take a look at the composition. Okay, their composition is pretty awful. I mean, they do have some Preceptor Knights and so on and so forth, and those guys are probably going to be doing some pretty significant damage, but they only have a very, very small amount of them, so even if they do, it's not really going to impact us too much. So let's see what happens. Are these guys actually going to want to attack me? I welcome the challenge, although please don't attack me with an army of over 2,000, because I kind of hesitate to say whether I would be able to win that, to be honest. I think that would probably be a little bit touch and go. I mean, considering we're actually not doing too badly, and I was able to kill 232 of the enemy by myself, but you have to bear in mind that they were in a perfect position for that to happen. And I think that's what you have to realize. I've seen a couple of people saying in the comments that magic is really, really overpowered, and it's breaking the balance of the game and so on and so forth. But here's the thing. You have to bear in mind that sometimes, dependent on your usage of it, magic is either going to be, and this is on a scale here. So, for example, let's say that magic is dependent on how you use it. So, for example, for me, I have had magic be completely useless, get myself killed at the exact same time as me using my first ever spell in the battle, and that is obviously due to my own skill in utilizing it. But, on the other hand, on the other extreme, I've had magic win battles almost entirely by itself. And that's obviously very dependent, once more, on what the enemy decides to do. It depends on their formation, it depends where they're standing, it depends whether they're aggressive or whether they're defensive, and so on. So, for me, my opinion on magic is that it depends on how you use it. If you yourself are good at using magic, then you'll probably have a pretty good time of dealing with pretty much any opposition that you come up against. But on the other hand, if you're unlucky, or if you just tend to make a mistake, like I do some of the time, most of the time, yes, let's not get into that. But yeah, the point is, if that happens, then you may have a bit more of a rough time of things. So I would definitely say that magic is balanced. I would say that it is balanced. It's just a very... it's a bit of a seesaw. Because on the one hand, it can be amazing, but on the other hand, it could be really, really awful. And I think that that generally holds true for a lot of the game, and a lot of any game, actually. Because, let's face it, if you're... if I can use the analogy of fighting games, for example, if I use fighting games as an analogy right here, if let's say that you maybe are not the best at fighting games, like myself. You know, I'm not the best at fighting games. I love fighting games, like Tekken, for example. I love Tekken. I'm just not so good at it. Now, that's the point. Someone that is going to, you know, perform on the esports stage of a fighting game is, of course, going to be much better at utilizing the same character that I might suck at. You see what I mean? And it's that kind of thing where, you know, then you would say, oh, that character's super overpowered. No, it's actually not the character. It's just that person knows how to handle that character. And that's the reason why I bring up that analogy. It's the same kind of thing in many games and in many aspects where, you know, you may think something is really strong, but then you just have to look at it from a broader angle. You know what I mean? Like, for example, right now, look at this. You see that? You see that damage right there? You see that damage? Okay, I actually wasn't expecting to get that many kills with this. I was not expecting to get that many kills, but yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, though. That was very damaging, but only due to the enemy's positioning. The enemy's positioning was basically giving me a pretty much free reign right there to do whatever I wanted to do. I'm getting a lot of a lot of lag right now. I think I must have done way too much damage, and now the game is having some issues. Okay, let me see if I can get Wind of Death back. Here's Wind of Death. Okay, so look, oh my, the enemy really doesn't know what they're doing right now. Look at this. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was very fun. I'm dead, but that was very, very fun. That was great. That was actually fantastic. But yes, I hope you understand the analogy of what I was trying to say there, because yeah, as I said, I think that magic is balanced. It's just how you use it. Otherwise, I actually think that we're having some issues here. Are we? I think we could probably win this if only my forces would just charge in. If they would just charge in completely, I think we would have a much easier time of things. I mean, generally, I eliminated 200... What? Seems like 232 is the sweet spot, because I think I eliminated 232 in that other battle as well, which is very interesting. That's a bit suspicious, isn't it? Yes, I am the imposter. Vote him out. Yes, indeed, indeed. Anyway, let me see if I can just speed things up. Oh, actually, I shouldn't have used that. I should have used this instead. I should have used the in-game speed up, because sometimes I get a little bit paranoid about whether it causes crashes, the vroom vroom, you know. Sometimes it might not. I'm not entirely sure, but most of the time it does not seem to cause me any problems. Anyway, there you go. We actually have been able to take the town that Mr. Gorgovich was very afraid of taking, so I'm very, very pleased about that. Anyway, we have 453 units to rescue here, and I will be placing them in the garrison. I will probably not be taking ownership of the town either. I don't actually see the point in that. And we are going to be getting 36,000 experience. Not going to be claiming the fief, but we are going to be donating troops to the garrison. So let's have a look here. Okay, so I'm going to upgrade a bunch of units in the meantime, while I can. And then we're just going to be putting these guys in there. And I do have a lot of space. These guys actually do level up into some pretty decent units. So I'm actually thinking that I might keep them around. I mean, we have 95 of them. So I might actually just swap out a couple of them for now. And there we go. Now we have 258. Fantastic. So we're going to gain a little bit of influence from that as well, but influence to me is basically negligible. I don't really see the point in even bothering with it at the moment. I have literally over 2,300 of it. And I'm going to be ransoming my prisoners for 31,000. And then we can also go into the marketplace and sell my ill-gotten gains for 48,000. Look at that. That is very, very nice. And we do have a little bit of grain here as well that I can obviously sell. But, yeah, there you go. There's another 50,000 for us, too. All right. So we do have the ability to recruit some regiments of renown, but I'm actually not going to be doing that because they are Empire. I did say that I would like to, show you those, but generally I would very much just like to get some more of the other kind, if at all possible. So let's actually see what kind of... Wow, my experience. You remember when I said to you, it seems like it's a bit difficult for me to level up right now, but look at my experience bar. It was all the way down at there, just at the beginning of level 25, and it was at, I don't know, 5-10% along the line, and now look at it. It's at 80% or something. That's really amazing. Love it. Anyway, let me see what I can do here. Speed damage bonus, I don't really care about that. I also don't really care about dealing damage against mounts. So I guess I'll just go for the speed damage bonus, I guess. There's not really much else for me to say about that. Anyway, let's wait here for some time and see what happens. I highly doubt any of the enemy is going to even be able to oppose us in this particular town because it just has such an amazing garrison. And I think with that, I'm going to be ending this episode off here. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.